I spent years secretly planning the perfect revenge on my cheating fiancé, and it destroyed her life. All right, so I guess this is where I lay it all out. Maybe for closure, maybe just to get out of my system. Either way, here it goes. I was 19 when I met Lisa. High school sweetheart. The kind of love that made you believe in all those cheesy romance movies. She was the one who said she'd stick by my side no matter what. And back then, I actually believed her. I was working long shifts at a warehouse while taking night classes, barely scraping by. But I didn't care because I was doing it for us. She had dreams of becoming a nurse, and I told her I'd do whatever it took to help her get there. At first, things were good. We were both struggling, but we had each other. I worked overtime, sometimes double shifts, to cover our rent and her tuition. She'd stay up late, helping me study for exams, leaving little notes in my lunchbox that said things like, "You're my hero, and I love you more than anything." Man, I was a fool. It wasn't until her second year of college that things started to feel off. At first, it was little things. She'd miss my calls and say she was studying at a friend's place. She'd come home late, saying she got caught up in a group project. Once, I called her while she was out, and I swear I heard a guy's voice in the background. When I asked about it, she laughed and said, "Oh, that's just Brian. He's in my class. He's gay, babe, relax." I let it go, because why wouldn't I? This was Lisa, my Lisa, but it got worse. She started dressing different, not just for school, but for study sessions. Tighter clothes, more makeup. She stopped leaving me cute notes, stopped cuddling up to me at night. Conversations turned into one-word responses. And the worst part? She made me feel like I was the problem. "You're being paranoid. You never used to be this insecure. Why are you acting crazy?" So I pushed my doubts down, buried them, told myself she was just stressed with school. I was working so much that I barely had time to think. Anyway, but the thing about lies, they don't stay buried forever. And Lisa was lying through her teeth. So I kept pushing through, telling myself I was overthinking. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. The real wake-up call came on our 4th anniversary. I had planned this whole thing, saved up for weeks, made a reservation at a nice restaurant. Even bought her a bracelet I knew she'd love. But an hour before we were supposed to leave, she texted me, "Hey, babe, so sorry, but I have a huge exam to study for." Rain check, an exam, on a Friday night. I wanted to believe her, but something inside me told me to check. So I drove by the library, thinking maybe I'd surprise her with her favorite coffee. Guess what? No Lisa. I texted her, "Hey, I'm outside. Want me to bring you something?" She didn't reply for 10 minutes. Then, "Oh, I'm actually at Sarah's place. We're studying together." Bull. Sarah was one of her college friends I'd met once or twice. I didn't have her number, but I had her on Instagram. So I checked. Sarah had posted a story just an hour earlier. She wasn't studying. She was out at some club. Lisa wasn't at the library. She wasn't at Sarah's. So where the hell was she? I tried to call. No answer. I felt sick. For the first time, I let myself consider the possibility Lisa was cheating on me, but I needed proof. Cold, undeniable proof. I wasn't going to confront her without it. So I waited. At around 2 a.m., she came stumbling in through the door, hair messy, smelling like a mix of perfume and alcohol. She didn't see me at first. I was sitting in the dark, waiting. "Hey," I said. She jumped, holding her chest. "Jesus, you scared me. What are you doing up?" Couldn't sleep. How was studying? She blinked. For a split second, I saw panic in her eyes. But then she smiled, that same sweet smile that used to make my heart melt. Ugh, so boring. Sarah and I were just quizzing each other for hours. I nodded, pretending to believe her. That night, as she slept beside me, I made a decision. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to accuse her without proof. No, I was going to play the long game. And when the time was right, I was going to make her pay. After that night, I knew I had to be smart. If I just confronted Lisa, she'd gaslight me, flip it around, make me the crazy one. No, if I wanted to do this right, I needed proof. The kind she couldn't lie her way out of. So I started watching. Not in a creepy, obsessive way, just paying attention. And let me tell you, once you suspect someone, you start seeing everything. She suddenly had a lot of study sessions. Her phone, which used to be left around the apartment, was now always face down. She started showering the second she got home. And then, the biggest red flag, she stopped wanting to be intimate. She had every excuse in the book. I'm just so tired, babe. I have a headache. I'm stressed about school. Yeah, stressed. Sure, I didn't push. I just played dumb, acted like I believed every word. Meanwhile, I started preparing. First, I got an old phone I had lying around and set it up as a secret camera in our apartment. I didn't know if she was dumb enough to bring someone here, but I wasn't taking chances. I placed it in a way that captured the living room and front door. Then, I bought a cheap GPS tracker online and stuck it under her car. Simple, easy to hide. Finally, I went through our phone records. She didn't know I had access to our shared account. I wasn't looking at her messages, just call logs. And guess what? There was a lot of one number. It wasn't saved in her contacts. That was the first sign. But she was calling and texting this number constantly. Sometimes even at midnight. I plugged the number into Facebook. Nothing. I tried WhatsApp. Nothing. But then I thought, what if I just called it? So I did. It rang a couple of times before a guy answered. Yeah. I didn't say anything. I just listened. I could hear music in the background. A bar? A club? Then I heard something else. Lisa's voice laughing. My stomach dropped. Hello? The guy said again. I hung up. That was it. That was all I needed to know. Lisa was cheating. And now it was time to let her dig her own grave. Now that I knew, I had two choices. I could blow up right then and there, demand answers, let her cry, let her lie, let her spin the whole thing around on me, or I could be patient. Patience wasn't easy. Every time she kissed me goodbye, every time she said, I love you, every time she pretended to be tired when I knew she had energy for someone else, I wanted to explode. But I held it in, because I had a plan. Step 1, confirm the affair. The GPS tracker was already doing work. It showed that, surprise, surprise, she wasn't at the library when she said she was. Instead, she was making frequent stops at an apartment complex across town. The same apartment, every time. I took a day off work and staked it out. Sat in my car, hoodie up, watching from a distance. And sure enough, at around 8:30 p.m., Lisa's car pulled in. She got out, fixing her hair, adjusting her dress, looking like she was about to meet someone special. I waited. 2 hours passed. Then 3. At midnight, she finally came out, hair messy, makeup slightly smudged. She got into her car and drove home. Step 2, gather more proof. I started recording our conversations. Just casual ones at first. Then I started throwing in little traps. Me, hey, maybe we should do a weekend trip soon. Just the two of us. Her, pauses. Yeah, maybe. I just have a lot going on with school right now. Me, you've been working so hard. We should have a date night this Saturday. Her, I think Sarah and I are studying. Lie after lie after lie. And I had them all on tape. Then, the best part, I checked my hidden camera footage. She never brought the guy home. But guess what she did? She sat on the couch, smiling at her phone, giggling, texting for hours. I zoomed in. Guess whose number was on the screen? The same unknown number I had called. Step 3. Find out who he is. This part was easier than I thought. I went back to social media, checking Lisa's friends list. And there he was, Brian. Remember Brian? The gay classmate she swore wasn't a threat? Yeah, turns out Brian wasn't so gay after all. I checked his profile. He was a smooth-talking, gym-loving, wannabe entrepreneur type. Every post was some motivational quote about grinding and hustling, while probably still living in his mom's basement. I scrolled through his posts, and one caught my eye, a mirror selfie. in the same apartment Lisa kept visiting. Gotcha, you idiot. Now I had names, locations, record of her lies, and proof she was sneaking around. The next step? Making her regret every single second of it. Now that I had everything I needed, it was time to set her up, but I wasn't just going to catch Lisa. I was going to humiliate her, make her feel every ounce of betrayal I felt, and I was going to do it without her even realizing it was happening. Step 1. Play the perfect boyfriend. For the next few weeks, I turned up the charm. I was more affectionate, more attentive, more in love than ever before. And you know what? Lisa ate it up. She probably thought she had me completely fooled, that I was still the dumb, devoted guy she'd been stringing along. Every time she kissed me, told me she loved me, smiled at me like I was the only one in the world, I smiled back, knowing damn well she had another man sent on her. And the best part? She had no idea that every "I love you" she whispered to me was being recorded. Step 2. The perfect setup. I started planting seeds. Me, "Hey, babe, I was thinking of throwing a little party. Just a small get-together with our friends." Lisa pauses. "Oh, yeah? Who are you thinking of inviting?" Me, the usual, "Oh, and Brian, of course." Her face twitched when I said his name, just for a second. But I saw it. Lisa, Brian? I mean, do you really want to invite him? Me, acting clueless. Yeah, why not? He's your friend, right? Checkmate. I set the date for a Saturday night and invited everyone. Her college friends, some of our old high school buddies, and even her family. I made sure to talk it up, hyping Lisa up as the amazing girlfriend who was supporting me through everything. I wanted people to see her as the devoted, loyal fiancée she pretended to be. She was smiling through it all. But I knew that deep down she was terrified, because Brian was coming. Step 3. The big reveal. The night of the party. I made sure everything was perfect. Drinks flowing, music playing, everyone having a great time. Lisa was acting normal, laughing, chatting, pretending like she wasn't sneaking off to another man's bed. Then Brian showed up. The moment she saw him, her whole body stiffened. She tried to play it cool, but I caught the way her eyes darted to me, like she was checking to see if I knew. Oh, Lisa, I knew everything. I waited until the party was in full swing. Then I stood up and tapped my glass. "Hey, everyone, can I have your attention for a second?" Lisa smiled at me, probably thinking I was about to give some cute little speech about how much I loved her. I cleared my throat. "I just want to take a moment to appreciate my fiancée, Lisa." People clapped. Lisa blushed. She's been my rock, my biggest supporter. I mean, I've been working my ass off to provide for us, and she's been so patient, so loyal. I let the word hang in the air. Lisa's smile faltered, just slightly. "So, Lisa, I thought tonight would be the perfect time to show you just how much I appreciate you." I reached into my pocket and pulled out a USB drive. Her eyes widened. I made a little video. I continued, a collection of our memories together. I thought it would be a fun surprise. I turned on the TV and plugged in the USB. The screen lit up, and there she was, Lisa, sneaking into Brian's apartment. Lisa, laughing at her phone, texting him late at night. Lisa, lying to my face about where she was. The room went dead silent. Then came the text. Screenshot after screenshot of her messages with Brian, all blown up on the big screen. Every lie, every betrayal, every disgusting secret she thought she had buried. Lisa froze, her mouth open and closed, like she wanted to say something, but nothing came out. Then came the final nail in the coffin, a recording of one of our recent conversations. "Me, you've been working so hard. We should have a date night this Saturday." Lisa, I think Sarah and I are studying. And then, right after, footage of her walking into Brian's place that exact same night. Game over. The room exploded. Gasps, whispers, people shaking their heads in disgust. Lisa's mom covered her mouth in shock. Her dad looked murderous. Lisa? She burst into tears. Wait, I can explain," she stammered. I turned to her, keeping my voice calm. Explain what, Lisa? She just stood there shaking, looking at Brian like he might save her. But Brian, that coward, was already halfway to the door. People started confronting her. Her own friends looked horrified. Even her mom, who had loved her to death, wouldn't meet her eyes. I let it sink in, let her feel the weight of what she had done. Then I took off my engagement ring, placed it on the table, and looked her right in the eye. We're done. And with that, I walked out of my own apartment, leaving her standing there, drowning in the mess she had made. I walked out that night feeling free. For the first time in years, I wasn't carrying the weight of her lies. I wasn't breaking my back for someone who didn't deserve it. I was done. But Lisa, she was far from done. After the party, my phone blew up. Calls, texts, voicemails, all from Lisa. I didn't answer a single one. I let her messages pile up, let her beg and cry into the void. But I did listen to the voicemails. The first few were full of excuses. Babe, please, I can explain. It wasn't what it looked like. You have to let me talk to you. Then came the gaslighting. I only lied because I didn't want to hurt you. You were so busy with work. I just needed someone to talk to, but I never stopped loving you. It didn't mean anything. Then desperation. Please, please, don't do this. I'll do anything. I'll quit school. I'll cut off Brian. I swear I'll fix this. Just talk to me. I didn't respond. The fallout begins. From what I heard, Lisa's life imploded after that night. Brian, he ghosted her the second the truth came out. Deleted her off social media. Stopped answering her calls. Turns out, Mr. I'm so in love with you wasn't interested once the secret affair became public. Her family was furious. Her mom wouldn't even look at her. Her dad, he told her straight up, you lost the best man you'll ever have. Her friends, half of them dropped her. The other half only stuck around long enough to watch the drama unfold before ditching her too. She tried going to Sarah for sympathy. Sarah shut that down real quick. I told you to stop. You did this to yourself. Lisa had no one. And me, I was just sitting back, watching it all fall apart. She tries to get me back. It didn't take long before Lisa showed up at my job. I was on break, grabbing a coffee, when I heard someone call my name. I turned, and there she was. She looked awful. Puffy eyes, dark circles, like she hadn't slept in days. Her hair was a mess. She had always been so put together, so perfect. But now, she looked wrecked. Can we talk? She pleaded. I sighed. Lisa, there's nothing to talk about. Please, she whispered. Just 5 minutes. I just need you to hear me out. I don't know why, but I agreed. Maybe I wanted to see her suffer a little more. Maybe I just wanted to hear what excuse she'd come up with. So we sat down and she grabbed my hands, tears welling in her eyes. I messed up, she choked out. I was stupid and selfish, and I don't even know why I did it. But you have to believe me. I love you. I never wanted to hurt you. I pulled my hands away. Lisa, you didn't mess up. You made a choice, over and over again. She shook her head, tears spilling. I was lonely. You were working all the time, and I felt like I was losing you. Brian he was there, and he made me feel wanted, but I never loved him. It was always you. I let out a cold laugh. Yeah? Then why'd you keep sneaking around? Why'd you lie every time I gave you a chance to tell the truth? She wiped her face, breathing shakily. I don't know. I was scared. I knew if I told you, I'd lose you. I shook my head. You lost me the second you decided to cheat. You just didn't know it yet. She was full on sobbing now. Please, I'll do anything. I'll go to therapy. I'll go to church. I'll prove to you that I can change. Just don't leave me like this. I leaned in, looking her dead in the eyes. You left me a long time ago, Lisa. Then I stood up and walked away, leaving her sobbing at the table. The final nail in the coffin. A week later, I got a text from Lisa's mom. She's not doing well. She's barely eating, barely sleeping. I know she hurt you, but please, can you at least talk to her? She's completely broken. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I replied. She broke herself. And I blocked her number. Lisa had spent years lying to me, betraying me, throwing away everything we built for some loser who didn't even want her in the end. She made her bed, and now she could rot in it. After shutting Lisa out for good, I expected things to quiet down. But nah, she wasn't done embarrassing herself yet. At first, she tried playing a heartbroken ex, posting sad quotes on Instagram, old pictures of us with captions like, "I miss what we had broken heart." She even posted a picture of the engagement ring I left behind, with some pathetic line about losing the love of her life. I ignored it, but then she switched tactics. The blame game. When the sympathy act didn't work, Lisa flipped the script. Suddenly, I was the villain. She told mutual friends that I had emotionally neglected her, and that Brian was just a shoulder to cry on that turned into something more. She claimed that I set her up and humiliated her on purpose, making me seem like some psycho mastermind instead of the guy she spent years cheating on. I laughed, because here's the thing, by this point, no one believed her. Her own friends called her out. One of them sent me screenshots of a group chat where someone straight up told Lisa, "Girl, stop. You lied, you cheated, and he exposed you. You did this to yourself." Her response? She left the group chat. Her parents? They weren't buying it either. Her mom texted me again, apologizing on Lisa's behalf. Apparently, Lisa had been moping around the house, barely speaking, barely eating. I almost felt bad. Almost. She tries to win me back again, about a month after the party. I got another knock at my door. I open it to see Lisa standing there, looking like hell. Messy hair, swollen eyes, like she hadn't slept in days. I should have slammed the door in her face. But curiosity got the better of me. She sniffled. "Can I come in?" "No." She flinched. "Please? I just need to talk." I crossed my arms. "Talk." She wiped her nose, looking down. I don't know who I am without you." I just stared. "That sounds like a you problem." She looked up, desperate. "I hate myself. I don't even know why I did it. I wake up every day wanting to take it all back. I miss you so much it hurts." I sighed, already done with this conversation. "Lisa, you don't miss me. You miss the security I gave you, the stability. You miss knowing there was always someone who had your back." She shook her head. "No, that's not true. I love you. Please, I'll do anything. Just tell me what I have to do to fix this." I leaned in. "You can't." And I shut the door in her face. The final collapse. After that, Lisa finally started to accept that I was never coming back. She deactivated her social media, stopped showing up at places where I might be. I heard through the grapevine that she dropped out of school for a while, claiming she was too depressed to continue. As for Brian, turns out he wasn't some prize either. About a month after Lisa's life went up in flames, his girlfriend. Yeah, the dude had a whole other relationship. Found out about his cheating ways too. She blasted him all over social media, exposed his lies, and suddenly, Brian was persona non grata. No job, no reputation, no Lisa. Guess he got what he deserved too. As for me, I started fresh, moved out of the apartment, focused on work, started going to the gym again. Hell, I even started dating. Nothing serious, but just enough to remind myself that there are better people out there. And Lisa, she lost everything. Her relationship, her reputation, her support system. And I didn't have to lift a damn finger. She destroyed her own life. I just sat back and let it happen. Months passed. Lisa was nowhere in my life anymore, and honestly, I was doing great. I had moved to a new apartment, started meeting new people, and felt like myself again. No more working insane hours just to fund someone else's dreams. No more second-guessing myself every time my girlfriend's phone buzzed. No more lies. But Lisa, she was spiraling. The drunk calls start. One night, I was out with some friends, enjoying myself when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I ignored it. Then it buzzed again. And again. I finally picked up, annoyed. "Hello." All I heard was sniffles. Then a shaky, slurred, It's me." "Lisa." I sighed. "What do you want?" I miss you," she mumbled. clearly wasted. I'm sorry, okay? I'm so sorry. I hate myself. I hate everything. I just want to see you. I leaned back, completely unbothered. Lisa, go home. I can't, she sobbed. I'm alone. I have no one. I don't know what to do anymore. You should have thought about that before you cheated. I said bluntly. She hiccuped, trying to keep herself together. I was so stupid. Please, I just need to talk. Can I come over? Just for a little bit? I laughed, actually laughed. Lisa, do you really think I'm dumb enough to let you back into my life? Silence. Then more crying. Goodbye, Lisa. And I hung up. That was the first call. There were many more after that. She gets even more pathetic. She called me at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., every time drunk and sobbing. I never answered again. Eventually, I just blocked her number. Then, she started emailing me. Long, rambling emails about how much she missed me, how she'd changed, how she was getting help and learning to be better. I deleted every single one without responding. Then she tried showing up. Once, I caught her standing outside my new place. Just standing there, looking up at my window. I didn't even acknowledge her. Just closed my blinds and carried on with my night. She sent mutual friends to talk to me, but they weren't on her side either. One of them straight up told me, she's lost it, man. She keeps saying she'll never love anyone the way she loved you. She's stuck in this cycle of self-pity. It's actually sad. I didn't feel bad, because at the end of the day, she deserved every second of it. The last attempt. The last time I heard from Lisa was on my birthday. She sent me an email with the subject line, "Happy birthday, please read." I shouldn't have, but I opened it. Inside was this long message about how much she regretted everything, how she still loved me, how she knew she had destroyed my trust, but hoped someday we could at least talk. And at the end, a picture of the engagement ring I had left behind. She wrote, "I still keep it, just in case." That was it for me. I blocked her email, deleted everything, and from that moment on, Lisa officially stopped existing in my life. Where is she now? I don't know. Last I heard, she moved back in with her parents. She never went back to school. She never got back with Brian, as if that was even an option. But me? I thrived. I got promoted at work. Met an amazing woman who actually respects me. Started traveling, seeing the world, living. And Lisa? She's just another mistake in my past. She thought she could play me, thought she could have her fun, and still come back to the life I built for us. But in the end, she lost everything, and I lost nothing. Lisa had officially faded from my life, but the shadow of what she did, that stuck around for a while. For months, I kept waiting for one final stunt, some dramatic plea, some grand gesture where she'd show up crying, begging for another chance. But it never came. She finally gave up. I guess she realized I was really done, that there was no talking things out, no working through it. She had burned the bridge to ash, and I wasn't about to rebuild it for her. And honestly, that was the most satisfying part. Not the public humiliation, not the way Brian ditched her, not even how her own friends and family turned their backs on her. No, the best revenge was a silence. She had to sit with what she did. She had to live with the fact that the man who loved her more than anything had completely erased her. And that hurt her more than anything I could have said or done. Running into her one last time. It happened about a year later. I was at a coffee shop, waiting in line, when I felt someone staring at me. You know that feeling when you just know someone's eyes are on you? I turned, and there she was, Lisa. She looked different. Not bad, but not the same girl I used to know. There was something off, like the weight of what she'd done had settled into her bones. For a second, neither of us moved. Then, she gave me this sad little smile, like she was waiting to see if I'd acknowledge her. I didn't. I turned back around and placed my order like she wasn't even there. And when I walked past her, I didn't even glance in her direction. That was the last time I ever saw Lisa. No words, no closure, just a ghost from my past, watching me move on while she stood there. stuck in the ruins of the life she destroyed. And honestly, that was the perfect ending. Where am I now? Happy. Truly, honestly, happy. I found someone new, someone who actually loves and respects me, someone who doesn't lie, doesn't cheat, doesn't take me for granted. I built a life for myself that Lisa will never be a part of again. And if there's one thing I've learned from all of this, the best revenge isn't anger. It's moving on and never looking back. Looking back, I realized I never actually needed closure from Lisa. She destroyed us, and that was all the closure I ever needed. But something funny happened recently. Something that made me realize just how deep my revenge had really cut. The message I didn't expect. Out of nowhere, I got a random message request on Instagram. It was from Lisa. I almost ignored it, but curiosity got the best of me. It was short, simple. I see you're happy. I'm glad. I wish things were different. That was it. No begging. No dramatics. Just a pathetic little message from a woman who had lost everything. I didn't reply. I didn't even block her. I just left her on read. Because in the end, she wasn't worth a response. The final chapter. Lisa isn't in my life anymore. Not in my thoughts, not in my heart, not even in my anger. She's just a lesson. A reminder that trust, once broken, can never be repaired. That love isn't enough if there's no loyalty. And most importantly, that the best revenge is simply moving on. Lisa will never know real happiness because she threw it away when she had it. But me, I got everything I ever wanted, just without her in it. And that's the perfect ending. The end.